Hi, I want to talk to you today about powerlifting for women, an untouched subject in the fitness world as far as training is concerned, getting fit, getting in shape, because so many women these days are so preoccupied with looking skinny, looking anorexic, starving themselves because they want to be skinny. So many women are under the impression that if you lift heavy weights, you will become bulky. I am a standing example of the fact that that is not true. I have been powerlifting now for a few years and just come back from a pretty severe injury which occurred about a year and a half ago, and I have since gotten back into powerlifting and I'm up to lifting about 70% of my maxes, which in case you don't understand, which means that the most that I could lift a year and a half ago before I injured myself, I'm able to lift 70% of that today. And I'm very proud of myself because I've worked really hard to do it. Regardless, this video today is about teaching women about powerlifting. And I want to tell you what powerlifting is really quickly. I want to tell you some programs that are really great and leave you with some final thoughts in terms of what you can do if you are indeed interested in powerlifting. So, powerlifting is a three-lift sport, which means that you compete to squat, you compete to deadlift, and you compete to bench as much weight as you can for one repetition. And a lot of people go, well, that's not really lifting. Like, why do you only want to lift something once? I'm telling you, any power lifter spends entire year. They spend all day, all night eating and training for that one lift, okay? So I might squat 20 times in the gym, but it's only making me stronger to squat that one time on the platform. And what I squat that 20 times is going to be nothing in comparison to what I squat that one time. Powerlifting is not a glamorous sport. So some of the world's greatest powerlifters are actually not famous celebrities who post mounds of selfies of themselves or have a lot of endorsements or are celebrities. They are very deep and very emotional lifters. I find that most powerlifters and even strongmen that I've met have a lot that they bring with them on the platform, and they have a lot of reasons in terms of why they want to powerlift. And so do I. I've had a lot of things happen in my life that I have drawn from and I draw strength from, which makes me want to become stronger. I've never strived for abs, I've never strived to be skinny, but it has happened, and I can't say I'm still skinny. I think I have a fairly athletic build, but at the end of the day, all I want to be is strong. So how it works in terms of your training is, any power lifter, depending on their lifestyle, their dedication, or whatever, will train anywhere between 2 to 7, let's say 5 days, not 7, days a week, and they work hard. I can't say I'm quite the power lifter anymore, considering my lifts are nothing, but in my heart, I always will be. So I want to empower women to be strong, and anytime I see a woman go into the gym and lift heavy weights, it makes me so happy, so happy. And so when you're going into the lifts or into the gym, you're looking to lift for a squat, a deadlift, and a bench, okay? So I can't say that enough. And what you're going to do when you're training is you're strengthening the muscles that will make those lifts stronger. So when I say a squat, it means doing deadlifts, it means doing more squats, leg presses, leg extensions, lunges, walking lunges, sprinting, stair drills, right? That's just some of the examples. On top of that, you're training abs, you're training obliques, you're training lower back, you're training glutes. So with deadlift, it's the same thing. You're strengthening your lower back, you're strengthening your traps, your arms, your lats, right? Your calves, your hamstrings, your glutes. And then with bench, you have more shoulder work, you have triceps and biceps and lats and obviously chest, you have abs, and you have trap strength. So there's so much that goes on in these 3 lifts that, you know, you're constantly building every single molecule in your body for performance. So powerlifting is not training for aesthetics. It's not. Powerlifters look strong, a lot of them do, but a lot of female powerlifters that you will meet actually are not that like big and muscular. A lot of them just look like me and they lift really heavy. So it's a great sport to get into if your strive is for strength. And I want to talk about 3 programs that I think are great for beginners or unless you're training with me, which I write very basic programs for as well. But some great people to look into who have been around for a really long time, and I looked up to them, and I still continue to, are one, it's called Starting Strength by Mark Rippetoe. Look into that book if you've never really ventured into the gym and you really need help with the basics. So Mark Rippetoe goes through a lot of the basics in terms of the lifts. He explains what they're about, how they're helpful, and how to do them. If you have any questions, you can obviously go on a lot of the online platforms, or I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. So it's a great book to look into. Spend your time reading it, really evaluate your lifts through it, record them if you need to, have someone look at them, and it's a great starting point. If you want to get into powerlifting and you have been lifting for a long time, or you've been lifting for a few years and you feel like you're getting stronger and you really want to test yourself out as a powerlifter, there's 2 books that I really recommend, or programs. One is called 531 by Jim Wendler. It's a really good basic program, especially if you are, you know, really into doing some basic work. You just want to get strong. You don't have a lot of time to waste in the gym, and you really want to explore powerlifting, okay? I'm not saying everyone needs to go on the platform and break world records, but there is a lot that comes with the recognition of strength within yourself, okay? So Jim Wendler's written this book, and he's written a lot of other books, and I think he's really good because if you are indeed looking for guidance, you know how to do your lifts, he will sort of run you through the mechanics and a really basic rundown of how to train, and it's a really great starting point. The only the only drawback with that program, especially for someone who's looking to have a little bit more substance in their training, has been doing powerlifting or has explored or ventured into that, is it's very basic. So you go in, you squat, then you squat more, and then you squat more. Then you bench, and you bench more. You deadlift, and you deadlift more. He obviously has a lot of different options that you can choose from, but that is, it's a great program, and I come back to it every now and again when I feel like I'm kind of dwindling off path, but at the end of the day, I do prefer to go with my own programs because through trial and error over the years, I've found out what works for me. And the last program that I would really recommend if you want to get yourself, you know, pushed a little bit harder, you want to train hard every day, you want to feel challenged, and you want to gain strength. You know, Brandon Lilly, when I met him, he said that he writes the cube method so as to prepare someone to be ready to lift every day, every week. And it's really great. You feel like you're being pushed. There's powerlifting days, and on top of that, there are bodybuilding days as well, which is really great. So if you're into that whole sort of bro training as well, and you really are not good at recognizing what assistance work you need to do, it's a really good program to look at. And I think that's something that's very hard to recognize when you first start, in terms of, you know, with me, for example, I know what my weaknesses are, so accordingly I do assistance work. And what assistance work is where you train the parts of your body that are relatively weaker. So let's say you're benching, and you find that your drive isn't as strong at certain points, and you know or recognize it's because of weakness in your tricep. So someone like me would work on triceps on bench day as well. And if you don't know what muscles to add or what work to do, I think cube method is a little bit more comprehensive than 531, and that's why it's really good. Any woman should powerlift. Any man should powerlift. And I don't even care if you're a guy watching this video who's trying to get into training but is embarrassed to do it. I'm telling you right now, when I first started, I used to squat like one of those people you see in awkward gym moments, right? Like my squat barely went to parallel and I thought I was doing a great job. And then you recognize, you learn, and you expose yourself to people who know things. You expose yourself to experience and you realize, you know, there's a lot more than meets the eye, and you gain a lot through exposure and experience. So give it a shout. Give it a shout. I don't know what's wrong with me. Give it a try. See how you go and see how far you're willing to go. The only thing that I will say before I go, though, is in most powerlifting programs, you do have to determine your max before you go and start a program. So people don't know how to do that. Just be sure to watch my next video and I'll explain that, because if I keep this video too long, no one's going to want to watch it. So just check it out. But this is a good starting point, and keep me posted with how you're going. Please feel free to email me or Facebook me or whatever should you have any questions, and know I'm always here because I want to see the world become powerlifter friendly. And, you know, think strong thoughts. Take care. Bye.